Judge, unless the state is going to now put up witnesses that are going to contradict things that this agent just said, I don't see any point in moving forward with this hearing. If that's the state's witness and that's the state's evidence, then what we have now is the clearest possible scenario of a checkpoint that is not just an immigration checkpoint. This is a general crime control checkpoint. This agent has now testified that among the various things that this checkpoint exists to accomplish is to detect drugs. That's the end, Judge. Drug checkpoints are unconstitutional. They're unconstitutional, and there is no argument that they're not unconstitutional. The state's witness testified that this checkpoint has multiple purposes, one of which is to detect drugs. There are several other purposes that are also unconstitutional. The Supreme Court has ruled that immigration checkpoints can be, under certain circumstances, which was the primary avenue of attack, that they didn't follow those circumstances, which, by the way, is still our argument. The Supreme Court has said that DUI checkpoints, under certain circumstances, are constitutional. But they have also said, clearly, that general crime control checkpoints, like checkpoints for drugs, like this checkpoint, as evidenced by the state's witness, are flat unconstitutional.
Your Honor.
As if we needed anything else, Judge.
Your Honor.
He's already testified, in addition to that, that there aren't even any guidelines, even if this was solely for immigration. There are no guidelines. He has no idea what even would be done if somebody shows up and says, no, I'm not a citizen, individual officer's discretion. If somebody shows up and says, I refuse to answer, no idea, individual officer's discretion. No guidelines, no policies that deal with that. The policy he's getting, I'll take him at his word, Judge. He says it has nothing to do with operations. It may not be relevant. If he's right about that, and that's the state's evidence, that doesn't get us where we need to go.
Are you asking the court, and I will give you an opportunity to address the court, Mr. Katz, are you asking the court to make a ruling based on the testimony that I heard without listening to the other witnesses, because it may be the same testimony, and we just wait for the document that you require that may not be relevant at all, may not have the information that you're looking for, and then the court makes its ruling regarding this motion? It's
certainly conceivable, Judge, that the state may say, that witness that I just presented, he said things I didn't expect, and that I think he said things that were wrong, and I'm going to present other witnesses that say different things than this witness. Okay, that changes my position. But if the state's not willing to say that, if the state is wanting to say what he said, what I just presented, is the truth, that's our position, there's no sense of taking any further evidence, because now
you didn't answer my question.
Well, I think it's based on what the state's position is. But in essence, Judge, if the state says their witness, the information their witness just presented, I think the court has enough evidence right now to rule, and should, that this entire checkpoint is unconstitutional, and that should be the ruling. And I think anything else we do today is just a waste of time, unless the state's going to try to change the testimony that's already come up.